being an entrepreneur is like one of the most natural things that you can do. I had 6 employees in October, and now I'm saying that it's going to be worth $1 billion in 12 months. I am having to impose order on chaos.
Investors on our team.
You bang your head against the wall for 10 years, and then all of a sudden, it's way more success than you ever thought possible all at once. And it's just so wild to think about how much things have changed, right?
Crisis. Yesterday, the House rejected the $700 billion bailout plan, sending shockwaves through Wall Street.
Lehman Brothers is going bankrupt, and financial markets from Asia to
I worked at Lehman Brothers. In that environment, the only reason that you are working is to make money and advance yourself, like towards making more money. Like these guys who are my first roommates were starting this website called Vimeo in my apartment. I watched that thing happen, and they appeared to be getting a deeper satisfaction out of what they were doing. I had kind of saved enough money to be like, I want to go try to be an entrepreneur. I had no experience, no filter, but like a super high level of confidence in myself. I left Wall Street and I was like, oh man, like I can do anything. Like I'll crush this stuff. And like, it just like, you know, it's like your confidence goes from here, and then I just like realized that I just knew nothing.
Let me tell you a little bit about Adam Robinson. Beyond having really great hair, he's also the CEO and founder of Retention.com. Adam has bootstrapped Retention to $14 million in ARR with 6 people in 2.5 years, and is on the road to reaching $50 million in ARR by 2024. Let's bring him up and talk about the unfathomable magic of email and SMS flows.
I just wanted to share a story first that's been going on in my life that's been incredibly impactful to me, probably the most impactful thing that's ever happened to me. How many people here have ever been stuck anywhere? Fucking liars. The people without their hands up. So
I was running a really good lifestyle business.
We had this business, we were paying our bills, you know, everything was fine. It wasn't fun, like we weren't excited.
I found that to be like just slightly dissatisfying because you're not all in. I had tried to sell it last year, and the buyer walked at the last second.
does anybody have any idea who this guy is? This guy is Dave Rogan-Moser. He is the founder and CEO of Jasper AI.
Jasper can fine-tune the voice and tone of your writing. Sorry to hear about the problems with your account. I'll make sure everything goes smoothly. Smiley face.
Nice.
2 years and 2 months ago today, he was stuck. I know because I've shared an office with him for 4 years, and I was stuck in the same place.
Like, right now really isn't the time, just kind of from a complexity, like even more than cash flow complexity, like we need to They offered me this closet, basically, for $500 a month, which is way cheaper than you can get an office anywhere else. I think Dave likes having me around. I like being around him. Throughout our journeys, we have pushed each other to think bigger and go harder and not quit and everything. And I think we're going to continue doing that.
They were contemplating selling a business for $4 million. They got to 60 million ARR in 14 months. They raised $200 million at a $1.5 billion valuation. Unbelievable.
I really like running ads on Twitter. Retargeting my own followers has been really effective.
Yeah.
But obviously requires you to have a base. But one thing that
Dave thing was really impactful. What's crazy was it was one conversation with one guy that Dave had hired. He talked to me for 10 minutes and he like understood all the metrics of my business. He's like, dude, like you have to try harder. There is an exponential opportunity that you're just like leaving on the table. And after that conversation, I was like, I actually think I have a better business than they do. I mean, if you didn't have this conversation, I don't know how else you would learn about it. Like if you're not, you know what I mean? It like lit this fire in me to change everything.
You gotta keep throwing spaghetti against the wall. I went on a quest that led me to find this like amazing, wonderful man named Santosh Sharan, who has built some of the biggest B2B data companies. The biggest one is ZoomInfo.
There's no way without Santosh that I was getting there.
So this is something I've made in the past. It's downloaded the recipe, I say start cooking. And then as I start putting tomato, it starts weighing it and then it will chop and like blend and then it cooks, of course. I'm Santosh Sharan. On the surface, when I engage with companies, I help them grow. I look for teams or individuals that are at just the right, place in their lives where they are willing to undergo a journey of transformation. I run into all kinds of entrepreneurs, and most of the time they're looking for help, but they just want me to say things that they already know, right? They want me to confirm what they are already thinking is the right way to go, right?
What is reflected in this is if we just grew our staff one more time and then just said, okay, we're gonna chill here.
So like new market is not reflected, data products are not reflected.
Santosh knows more about everything than I do. And I was like, if you could just tell me which direction to run in, I can run faster and harder than anybody. I just am lost right now.
Most of the time, the entrepreneurs are not ready to go on this journey. They are to go from like point A to point B, and after that, they're like, yep, I got it. I know, I'm done. I don't want to go any further. Our reps, especially those enterprise reps. But really, what they're doing is they're limiting themselves, right? And the limits they're putting ahead of themselves is really a function of their past experiences.
We're like creating this ecosystem that will enable people to target in the post third-party cookie world, and we're enabling it over email, which is like a channel that no one enables it over.
I was just running the numbers and, I just think this is like so much bigger than we thought it was. He's like, if we basically fix these 5 things, we can go, as fast as humanly possible.
Totally doable for us.
It was selling faster than we were selling the monthly stuff. And at that moment, we were like, okay, now it's time to be borderline irresponsible in how fast we grow this thing. Santosh was on vacation in Europe and he's like emailing me in the middle of the night how he thinks we're going to be worth $1 billion by the end of the year. Okay, hey. This is this week. Look, I have a free hour on Friday where I can like eat lunch or something, but basically no other free slots. This is unsustainable.
But there's only 24 hours in life. And he was trying to do everything. And as an entrepreneur, you almost feel the burden of being the leader. You feel like, you have to do everything that others can't do.
Diana's like, we need to hire. I'm like, Diana, like, who have you ever hired?
We just don't have the time to spend an hour on something that we know is not going to work.
Yeah.
We just don't have. Something Adam and I have always been a little hesitant on hire. Like managing people just brings a whole set of different challenges.
I do not know how to go out and find, attract, and hire a group One person, let alone 40.
We are all in some sort of emotional loop. We just stay tethered and, restrained to our past and don't realize like how powerful we are and how far we can go. Especially if you do it the right way, all the individuals in the company have to unlock their potential, truly know how powerful they are, right? And somehow cut that cord with the past, right? That limits them.
So we've hired 3 VP level people of the 30 that we hired. And this is since November 1st. We've fired 2 of them already. Wrong fit for the role. Pretty much makes me feel like I suck at hiring, which is what it is.
Adam's been working more than he's ever worked before. He's energized, he's excited about what he's doing, and that is what I think everyone should want to be, excited, happy for what they're doing, and I want my partner to feel that way, so I'm very happy for him. We have a 6-month-old, so it is a bit stressful not having him here. In the past, he has been here a lot. Like, we would eat lunch together a lot.
I do think it's important to stop. I think if you don't stop working and you work too much, like, I know it would erode my relationship with Helen substantially, and I would miss out on a lot of Emma time, which is incredibly valuable. And then there's a burnout component. I could not do 12 to 14 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week.
If you pull the tail at me, like music comes off. I think your mom got that lamb. It's like it sounded like a little lamb. So I called her my lamb baby. Aww. And Judy got her a bunch of cute little lamb toys. So sweet. He's definitely prioritizing us, which he should. It's just been a bit, I don't know, I'm just tired.
This is a unique moment where you're scaling and it's before you have help. It's just hard to describe, the combination of like pressure and like pulled a bunch of different ways. Imagine yourself just walking down the street, minding your own business. All of a sudden, a group of 10 people just sort of forms around you, and they quietly start saying your name. Adam. 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 It gets louder. Adam. 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 It's all things that you need to handle because everybody else is doing other stuff and underwater, and you don't want to just shovel stuff on them. I can't go on like this.
Everything Adam has done prior to this has led to this moment in his life where, he was prepared to kind of transform his life, right? And turn this around. In some ways, he's changed his reality.
It feels weird to me to be in a position where I'm like, guys, please help me take stuff off of my plate. Maybe it's like it feels like the wrong example of leadership, how we have always behaved collectively. It's been like 4 or 6 wildly productive individuals that just did everything.
We're doing very well. It's just that the team, it's not...
That's what Santos keeps reminding me. He's like, dude, like, as frustrated as you are, remember, like, this was your dream. And he's right. There's so much growth ahead, but you don't know exactly what it looks like. But like, it's this window into a world that you've always wanted to go to.
We hired 11 people today. I literally woke up this morning and I messaged a couple of the VPs. I'm like, this is the first day of the path to 100 million.
We had a marketing person start today. She said, I'm amazed by how energized your team is about the opportunity ahead. That makes me feel amazing. Like I'm doing something right in communicating in a very clear way what we have to do and how amazing it will be if we all work together and do it.
Entrepreneurs create their own reality, right? And he's focusing on something really big, really positive. It's not just him, but the entire team is now focusing on this because these things are infectious, right?
We can create this energy in the world that will make people so excited about what we're doing that we're the only thing that's on their mind. This is not scientific. This is what I'm doing right now. It's manifesting itself through how I communicate my vision for this year. All of it is creating this pulse in people that if you ask anybody that's working on this right now, they all feel it. I have lived two entirely different professional lives. Like I've started 2 companies, sold one of them. Like I've hired and fired 100 people, right? Like I have learned the hard way so many times. And I'm in this incredible place of good fortune where I have a business that is successful enough to where I can be like, you know what? I'm gonna try to only do stuff that gives me energy because like I feel like that gets projected to the outside world through all of this content that I'm making, projected to my executive team, and then through their employees and out to customers. I'm like giving everything I can. So it's like, if you're giving everything you can and it's giving you energy, it's paradise. How do you create the quickest awareness? I just like love shocking people. I think it's like so fun.
And we're live. It's Adam Robinson, founder and CEO of Retention.com. Going to give you a little bit of a Q4 2022 update and revised upward guidance for 2023. We had a really good quarter in 2022. I'll jump over to our little QuickBooks account here. Cleared 3.5 in cash. That was up 20%. At least once or twice a week, we get a prospect who tells one of our salespeople that they watch every single one of the videos that I make every day. And they're like, your financials got forwarded to me. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I don't know whether he's like crazy or stupid or what, but like, I'm kind of into it. Exactly how I do it. I put some chill music on in the background. Let's do the coding mode. This is a popular one that I like to. I gotta think about what I'm actually gonna write for this one. Don't want to be famous or well known. I was trying to look for ways to do it without it being me. There's like this big concentration of a lot of power and influence in this universe, and I feel like it's very effective for me doing all this like profile raising
content creation.
Okay, and this one's gonna be going big is easier than going small. And we're live! It's Adam Robinson, founder and CEO of Retention.com. I read an incredible book over the reason I don't have somebody writing these for me is because I have observed that maximum authenticity is what resonates with people on these platforms.
It's an outrageous level of transparency, and we're absolutely crushing it too. So it's like this combination of all these different things: emotional authenticity, radical transparency, and some guy who is like all of a sudden on this like rocket ship that he's always wanted to be on.
The reach is just incredible.
I viewed our current market opportunity with Retention.com as a land grab and thought that people connect to people on social media faster than companies, because social media is how people connect in today's world, and it's your only option for digital marketing.
These are net followers of people that are kind of ish in our world. Like Shopify is growing by a lot, but they have 700,000 followers. We have 1% of their followers. My following is growing faster than that, but it's just an interesting thing to look at.
Being different is better than being perfect. This initiative that Adam is going after, it's helping the business cut through the noise. It's going far and wide, and some strangers are beginning to realize there's a company called Retention, and Adam is the CEO. And getting that kind of visibility is really difficult.
Is it distracting you momentarily from your hunger? Oh. What about this? Boom, boom, boom. This machine, it's called the Baby Brezza. It's like an espresso maker for formula. And I learned last week that they're one of our customers.
And I just love that like slowly but surely, all of these brands that I know and love are using our product.
It's amazing how careful dogs are, right? She like won't even close to bite down on her hand. She got you that time, little lady.
I was having a drink with a guy who owns a seed stage company that sells into these big Shopify stores just like us. At the end of the drink, he's like, "Do you do any advising?" And I was like, I literally said this. I was like, dude, like 4 months ago, like no one would have ever asked me to advise on anything.
So the question, I feel like you're getting at, like, was there one moment?
I'm watching my status rapidly rise in this world faster than I feel like I'm changing internally. And I know why. It's because I'm doing this stuff,
As you get followers, as you build audience, it will raise your status. It's happening for me. My goals are to attract better recruits, to get investors to sort of FOMO into our growth trajectory and be very interested in the story. And number 3, to spread to the brands that we're trying to sell into. People are just taking me a lot more seriously than they were 4 months ago because of what I'm saying on LinkedIn.
I keep talking about inner transformation or change rather than talk about the business, but it's really the journey of changing, right? Now, what do you do with this journey or the time, right? You really transform yourself and transform other people.
So something had happened yesterday that was like kind of a holy shit moment. There's this brand called Dr. Squash.
Listen up. The soap you shower with, it's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with.
They've been a customer for like 5 months, I think.
They're still using whatever bar.
They made 50x ROI in November. They said that they would sit next to me at Grow LA on stage And they would also give us a case study, which is like, Warby Parker would never do that. It's just incredible. Like this feeling of like, it's all happening is just, it's taking over my body. I view that my founder brand content is not optimized at all in terms of its distribution and like kind of how I'm creating it. I can tell you that today I'm currently running a business 7 times larger than my first business. It's on a trajectory to be 100 times more valuable over the next 12 to 18 months. It's hard to articulate how much my appreciation for this has changed since I've just seen it work over the past few months. Like I started doing this like October 1st. It's February 1st. Like it has not been long. My status with everyone that I'm talking to is so different now. I just feel it. like I could not get people who were mid-level partnership people to email me back 4 months ago. Like they are proactively seeking conversations with me now. I just got off my second session with one of my podcast guests. And it was a 2-hour session, and his name's John Cronstedt. Just fascinating journey scaling a software company. And I just have this like amazing buzz from it.
Of $2 billion in products sold per year.
I just got the chills when you described that. I just thought it was worth commenting on. I like really get a lot from this part of my job now. It's wild. It like doesn't feel like work. I could have sat and talked to that dude for hours. Santosh asked everybody what we were going to do when we sold for low single-digit billions next year. I was like, honestly, dude, like I haven't even for 1 second contemplated it. So what are the lessons here? Number one, when you sell, you're probably going to be depressed. That's just a reality of the situation. Why? Because it's about the journey and it's not about the destination. It's so great if this business turns like spectacularly successful. Like things that I don't want are like, you know, everyone like starts treating us differently, you know? I don't want my life to be people approaching me, pitching me things.
I know what you want.
Like I hate that. I want to produce, you know, like I want to like be creative. I actually believe that 200 ARR by the end of 2024 is the pace and the trajectory that we are on. We are at 14 right now, and I can tell you there's going to be no more fun place to work than this. And that is this week's Work in Public. I'll see you next Friday. Signing off. I have 2 thoughts that are kind of looming and worth sharing. Right now, it's this idea of trying to get Klaviyo and Shopify to invest in us. If we can get that done, it's going to help us more than anything else. There's this other notion of this very sensitive relationship that we have with Klaviyo and how careful we are with it. I think this investor is talking about us at their board meeting with their founders, and that could still go really wrong. And if it does, we are going to be in a very, very bad situation. I've built my whole brand around being like, I'm okay being aggressive so long as it's legal. Is it only about being legal? No, it's about being legal and like unlocking value in a way that like is not damaging to the ecosystem. In the US, the CAN spam law of 2003 states that you don't actually need to have a first party opt-in, meaning somebody telling you to email them from their website. We enable a very aggressive marketing tactic that makes people a lot of money. But, there's kind of two sides of every house. The revenue people love us because I've heard that. And then these other, legal compliance like deliverability. They are somewhat less enthusiastic about what we're doing. We are very unsure of what Klaviyo thinks about what we're doing, even though every one of our customers uses Klaviyo and we have an integration with them. So it's this very sensitive relationship. These guys wanted us dead, we would be dead by now.
So we're going to Lou's house?
Lou Marchetti, the one and only. Lou is a very, very close friend of mine who, over the past 6 months, I'd say, has become this sort of voice of a sage advisor. We talk about life and business during these workouts that we do. Ever since the trajectory of this thing has changed wildly, he's just making sure that I approach anything eyes wide open that I end up doing. And we're live. It's Adam Robinson, founder and CEO of retention.com. I competed in the email marketing space for a long, long time. 8 years, maybe 10. It did not go well. However, 2 companies shaped how I will forever look at business going forward. The 2 companies are MailChimp and Klaviyo. Why MailChimp? Because MailChimp gained a monopoly level position, bootstrapped an SMB with this incredible freemium play that they used to wipe out the incumbent, Constant Contact. It was incredible to watch. What's even more impressive, in my opinion, is that Klaviyo, in that environment, in an age where MailChimp had a monopoly, was able to ultimately gain monopoly share of the Shopify universe. I hope to emulate that playbook with retention.com and end up at a similar position in the Shopify ecosystem as Klaviyo has.
Like to push through.
Yeah, like that.
But that's like, yeah, I really want to retire. I'm like, cool. Like, well, we start talking about it. He's like, yeah, I just got 7 cases in. I'm saying yes to all of them. I'm like, okay, well, so you can hit this first. And so these are just similar to what we're doing. There's explosives, a slow, keep the core tight. Nice, yeah, good explosion. Nice, slow, good deep.
We have a call with a board member of Klaviyo who was at a board meeting at Klaviyo last week in Boston.
Okay, so he was at a board meeting with Klaviyo because he's on the board.
He's on the board.
Okay.
So he gets on the call and this guy is just dumbfounded by what we're talking about. He's like, have you ever spoken to these Klaviyo guys? I'm like, and I described to him this really sensitive nature of this relationship. And he's like, dude, it's gotten so hard for brands, for merchants to target after this Apple, Facebook doesn't work anymore for these people. So he's like, all they're talking about in all of these board meetings is how to help these merchants target. So anyway, they had a board meeting last week and we have another call with him today. So I don't know if he mentioned us. Based upon his level of enthusiasm, I would be very surprised if he did not. In my mind, there's this problem that they have with what we're doing because I've spoken to people who used to work at Klaviyo and they're like, there's a guy who runs this compliance department who is very black and white on the issue that you guys are gray in. There's no room for negotiation.
How much of your business is with Klaviyo?
All of it. No, I mean roughly all of it. You could say that we're poking the sleeping bear, but I think with all the noise that I'm making and the traction we're getting,
You want to get ahead of it.
I have to figure it out. Yeah. It's it's going to be way worse.
Yeah.
There's a glorious outcome where we're on this fast track to them buying us at some point or whatever. Yeah, just exactly. Or this could be when we poke the sleeping bear and we get killed by the bear. Right. This is the path that I've chosen. I knew day one that this is what we were doing. We are in a market where we are doing something that is sort of fringe. The beautiful part of it is that there's a real misunderstanding of the laws and there's, it just keeps people out of the market. Like people don't want, so like it just gives us the ability to have this incredibly high velocity sales motion because we don't have any competitors. You're always like running this 1% risk of like absolute catastrophic blow up. What are you gonna do? We might sell this company for like $1 billion. Like, I'm gonna make that wager like all day long. And until that happens, I'm gonna have fun doing it. So. How you doing? Just can't wait to see what these guys say. By the way, John is here filming this episode today. Do you think I can mention to the guy, like, he's not going to be on camera and you can't hear his voice? Would there be any reason you think he would be sensitive to that? I think he'll think it's creative. Entrepreneurial. Man, this would be a tough no-show. I just love that we're hitting them from so many different angles, you know? Like we got Dave Wirtz on one. Hey! We thought that was going to be the case. We have been looking forward to this chat, certainly. So the guy hung up. He was visibly much less excited than 2 weeks ago. It wasn't bad though. 2 weeks ago, he was like chomping at the bit over this, and we were like, man, we're gonna feed this guy this data stuff and he's gonna be all over it. And like, that wasn't the posture today. So, but he didn't say, like the biggest fear was he was gonna be like, I brought it up and they're like, we're gonna shut those guys down. Definitely didn't say that, and the things that he said did not allude to that being a possibility, really. We had the biggest sales week ever. Things are accelerating at an unbelievable rate. Everything is still just like bonkers, but it's like anytime, you know, you're going into something like that and there is this like crazy possibility of like a fast track, I think. When it turns out to not be that, it's just kind of like, so, as Santos said, that's the life of the entrepreneur, right? It's a game we play. You ping these guys in, you know, 3 weeks and you're like, well, now we're at 20 million in revenue. And like another 2 months later, it's like, well, now we're at 30 million in revenue. It's like, they're gonna start paying attention again, you know? So it's 4:42 a.m., 2:42 a.m. California time. I'm headed to LA for a conference called Grow. It's for Shopify stores, and I'm speaking with Dr. Squash. This should be amazing. They're going to get on stage and say a bunch of incredible things about us. Then we have an executive conference in Palm Springs. Then the team is going to E-Tail West in Palm Springs, but I'm coming back because I have an infant daughter and don't want to spend my life on the road. It's going to be a long day.
If you look at other people's jobs and lives, you know, these like very public figures, their life seems exhausting to me. Always on the road, speaking, whatever. I had thought that laying super low and raising a family and still having this like beautiful and lucrative business in the background, like that sounds awesome. It still sounds awesome to me. Getting an Uber to the downtown proper hotel where I'm basically going to sit in traffic, get out of the car, check in quickly, get on 2 podcasts, and I attempted to record the podcast. For some reason, the charger that I grabbed doesn't work. Then go to the networking dinner where I have to network, and I hate that. I have a company called retention.com.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Maybe not.
You've heard of the name, retention.
So there's different types of events. Like, I think there's kind of like the industry events. Then there's these more intimate events, like the one that we're at this week, that you really can show up and meet every person in the room. These ones are more about networking and building like real relationships.
A month ago, I knew that I was speaking and I had no idea who was going to come on stage with me. I don't even know what brands of ours live in LA. Diana was like, oh, Dr. Squash will do it. They're the absolute apex, the most admired brand in this entire ecosystem of like 50,000 companies who are all going to use our software at some point. And this guy said that he's willing to get on stage and tell everyone that he made $1.2 million in October and paid us 20 grand, so over 50x.
Okay.
So this is Ishan. This is going to be your stage director. So he's going to get you mic'd up. He's going to take you down when it's time. If you just want to hang up, yeah.
It helps you guys send more flow volume. It's the brand.
Wow. Good luck, guys.
All right, thanks, Jimmy.
All right. Thanks, man.
In just 30 days of launching their app,
Hello, everybody. We've been preparing all day for this. We even got dressed together.
You know, standard blue and black. We only ran it for 2.5 months before our Black Friday campaigns kicked off, and it was our #1 segment in our Black Friday campaigns. It generated over 5% of our total revenue in Black Friday period, which is like pretty magnificent.
And that's after 2 months.
After 2 months of
collection for 2 years, it would lose 50.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a very narrow scope in that period, and even since then we've left it on. It continues to be our #1 generating flow.
Thank you, Cody. This was great.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, of course, man. Thank you.
Kyle. Hey, we fucking smashed it today.
We did.
We think we got $1 million ARR from our probably 35 grand investment.
Oh,
I'm not really good at math.
That's nothing.
I'm not really good at math, but
Hey there.
what would you say what would you say the ROI is on that?
It's probably a very good ROI-X.
Yeah. I'm going around 30x.
30x is about right.
Yeah,
Right.
30x.
So, I've just been reflecting on yesterday. If you would have asked me to describe, literally like 30 days ago, the absolute perfect environment for me to be in to build the authority and trust in our brand, it would literally be sitting at that conference
with that guy saying those words. Last year, I probably would have paid $1 million cash on the spot for that. Wouldn't even thought about it. You probably could have gotten $2 million out of me. And now that's just my life. Like, this is what's so hard to actually grasp and accept the reality of. Yeah, John. We have our executive offsite on Friday and Saturday. It's so nice to just like get in one place with people.
And Leslie has
562, perfect.
That's the garages of the
Yeah, no, this is it.
I think our marketing, we are doing very well. It's just that the team, it's not communicated that either you or I are responsible. We should probably, it's a little bit fuzzy. So
You didn't do that, and now I'm looking back being like, why hasn't this been done yet? You know what I mean? Where like
Diana has been sick for like 6 days. You know, I was kind of hoping that Diana would snap back and actually come and do this because that was what we agreed to. I left my house on Wednesday morning at 4:42 a.m. I was supposed to be walking back at my door right now. I'm staying for another 2 days and I have to lead this entire email day. It's great for our brand, but it's really exhausting. You have to like give an opening speech, moderate literally 8 hours of speed dating with 10 different brands. They rotate them around these tables and you kind of stay in one place. And then there's 4 panels in between that I have to moderate. Diana says she can't do it. And I'm just like, fuck. Like, because nobody else can do this, right? Like Mike could have done it, but he has COVID and can't come. It's something I do not want to do in any way, shape, or form. And like, I just have to do it because like these 2 people can't fucking be here. Adam.
Janice.
Hi.
Denise.
Denise.
Yeah.
Mark, what's up? Y'all ready to do this?
Sure.
And this is about female SMS, but in this part of
My name's Adam Robinson. I am the chairperson for today. I'm subbing in for my co-founder, Diana Ross, the singer. I think I may not have any slides. You guys like jokes? So I'm founder and CEO of retention.com, and I'll just do this without slides if need be. Am I gonna have slides? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Guess what, guys? I'm talking about retention. I was like, are you serious? You're not gonna give me fucking slides? Like, to add absolute insult to injury, you're gonna make me fucking stand up here and not use slides?
There's a team dinner tonight that I don't think you knew about.
I'll come.
You want me to throw you on the invite? You're
Yeah.
gonna go?
I'll come.
You're gonna go home?
No, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go.
How are you feeling?
Good.
What can I get you? Coffee?
You're so sweet. No, I'm totally fine. Do I look like I'm having fun? Cracking jokes and shit? Like it seems like I'm happy, but I'm not. I know, dude.
We need a better way of capturing these leads.
Diana actually likes doing this stuff. I'm like, I do not. Like eating fucking Pop-Tarts and like being on for 9 hours, pitching. Man. But hey, whatever the amount of badges Walker has scanned by the end, 10% of them converted into deals. I'm gonna be back in like 2 seconds. I mean, I think you get the drill. What part of your job don't you like, and how do you deal with that? I have always really not liked trade shows. I just fucking hate it, you know? Like, it's like good that it was so painful, like this whole kind of experience, so that I can like set boundaries, right? And be like, guys, like, this is not what we're doing anymore. 18 hours after landing, I have done a complete emotional recovery. Woke up this morning, front porch for an hour with the baby, and an hour and a half of wake surfing. It's amazing chronicling all this because like you don't realize like this is kind of like a drug that like maybe lasts longer than a drug does. Like just these things like being home and all of this like routine that I love so much. And I think I'm accepting the fact that I am never going to do what I just did again. And I've made that very clear. Which just thinking about that makes me feel good. I don't think I'm going anywhere besides the hill country for 3 months. Diana and I talk about how what this is to us all the time. And we're like, we leave work at 5, but we're thinking about it in the shower.
There is a price sheet by the DJ. This is 1,000.
You're with your family, but like the biggest breakthroughs come from your subconscious, and it's a result of just listening all day, moving throughout the world, doing what we do, just like taking in new information, exposing yourself to different environments that might make you like think about things in a different way. Like there's a lot of negative connotation about this live to work thing. What if you looked at it like an artist, for instance, who was just obsessed with their work?
I think we came to a realization that just hard work is not enough to achieve any goals. I mean, especially when you are going in this realm of doing something unattainable, right? Hard work is simply not enough.
I genuinely believe people are much happier in an environment where there is a shared agreement that we will pursue excellence.
Or you can say more limited than Apollo and Zoom Info.
Having a great product is what drives everything else, but it is only one part. Like all of the rest of it has a different type of motivation. It's like, well, we're just going to try to make this the best it can be, you know? And that to me is like a very artistic statement. So we posted this post. It now has 10,000 reactions, 431 comments, and 379 reposts, which is, I normally get like 50, I would say between 50 and 100 reactions is normal. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure I would want to do the job of 10 people, especially if I'm being paid and valued the same as someone doing the job of 1. Too often, those who outperform at a higher level only get rewarded with more jobs. The A+ players I know are driven because they feel like they're wasting their potential in lifetime if they don't do their work at their best level they can't. This is the other side, right? They couldn't just stop giving their best no matter what was their work because it's in their nature to want to do their best. They stay in environments that allow them to achieve their best and grow and leave if they're held back. That articulates my side of the argument very clearly.
I think it's flowing well. When you are doing what you truly enjoy doing, you'd actually find yourself doing it effortlessly. It's misconstrued that people that are responding that 10x productivity is going to burn out or they're going to have to work like 10 times more. And that's not the way to get 10x productivity anyways. It's really just doing things that matter, right? Not doing 10 times more stuff.
Should we talk about what we're about to record?
So that. So how do you?
I mean, typically I would just write down questions that I would ask.
Yeah.
Maybe something in your presentation to your daughters that's like super succinct and digestible. I'm learning how to create this content now.
You're doing good. The pressure to perform can be overwhelming and intimidating, right? So when somebody goes to work saying, I have to do 10x because that's what's expected of me, they're never going to perform 10x, right? If they are in the right environment and they just enjoy doing what they enjoy, chances of performing 10x is much higher.
Okay, so.
I think it's really important to wake up every day with a purpose and to love what you're doing. Adam comes home every single day and he just has so much energy after working all day because he is so excited. He's working with incredible people that he loves. A lot of it comes from Santosh, and it's really cool that he found him and that he kind of is helping him pave the way and also finding the right people. And the better people that keep coming, more better people want to keep coming towards it. So it's really just inspiring to see as a partner.
That confidence and hope and optimism.
Everybody laps up every single millisecond they get speaking with this dude. Anne said something that was hilarious. She was like, you can go into a call stressed out about something with Santosh and you get off and like nothing bothers you. Two books that I've been very energized by are Rick Rubin's The Creative Act, A Way of Being, and Frank Slootman, Amp It Up. And the interesting thing is, Frank Slootman's Amp It Up, I read it, it's all about scaling. It's about picking up pace and intensity, narrowing focus, raising standards, increasing velocity. And I'm like, yes. And we're doing it. I read The Creative Act, The Way of Being, and I'm just like, this is my life.
I think it's flowing well.
I've never read a business book that has spoken about most of what he's talking about. I don't think Santosh is like, we should co-author a book. I just see it. I see how stories change people, and my whole idea is packaging up these stories that can just be repeated over and over again through people to the market amongst themselves.
Excited.
Yeah, well,
Adam is doing all the hard work.
Well, I'm pulling it out of him.
Anyways, well, y'all have fun writing your book, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Alright, love you. Bye.
Love you too.
They are all selling to the exact same buyer, right? And yet, some were successful, others weren't, and there was like vast disparity between them.
Mm-hmm.
So, being intellectually curious, and they all competing with the same, they all building the exact same tool. I got a chance to really understand why some work, others don't. And what I learned was it was the mindset that really made it different. It was the human stuff.
Somebody who could really use my words to capture exactly what he is and then, tell the story of my business as it relates to the story of every human being. It's just the story of a life, of a guy that sort of wanted, was yearning for more. And this wizard came along and made him realize that it was within himself the whole time.
everything in nature is either growing or decaying. It's like a plant, either just grows or dies. There's no such thing in a plant where it says, I'm going to check out now. I'm at a good space in my life. I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to die. I'm just going to like stay here, right? There's nothing in the universe that works with that kind of mindset, right? So we only have two choices. We either like slowly decay or we grow.
Just going out into the woods for a week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna just have my friend Sophia, who lives in Aspen, drop me at this Woody Creek trailhead in Jericho, which is like, it's far away and there's nothing remarkable about it. So like no one hikes it. It's like a 50-mile network, and there's just some really beautiful shit a few days in that like no one gets to. And once you're one day in, you literally see no one.
2 years ago, I went into the woods. My goal was to not see anyone for a week. There's something about social starvation that your brain does something that's very therapeutic, and it changes, and it's just really interesting. There's just so much time to contemplate life when there's no other stimulation in a way that you can do no other way. You are successful if you do the best with what you have, period. And then it's like, okay, what does that mean? Work 100 hours a week, right? Like never see your family? In my opinion, it doesn't. I do think I'm trying as hard as I can with this thing. And a big part of my being able to do that is having balance and exercise and family and community and friendship and inspiring experiences in other places, being in nature. You were saying something about in these concepts, they're so simple yet so powerful, right?
They are almost been there since the beginning of time, right? It's almost how they're aligned to how universe or nature operates or human behavior operates. But this is especially important for like entrepreneurship. When you're trying to do, not just entrepreneurship, when you're trying to do a lot more than others, right? Or you're trying to expand and attain some massive goals.
So you need these forces working with you. It's the only way you're going to get there.
Right.
Like you have to understand and harness all of this, right? There's a lot about our approach that like Santosh and I just seem to have serendipitously aligned on, like without even really communicating about it. I think we just felt it, that I perceive as very unique, especially as you like sort of start peeling back the onion, So that's why I want to write that book with him.
Here is a feeling I've always had. I'm not sure how to articulate or this is the right place, but in order to change the world, there are like 8 billion worlds for each human, right? And each of us see something different in this world. We think it's the same world, but it's really different from all of our perspectives, right? Mm-hmm. If we change the way we look at the world, we are changing the world, right? And at least for us, right? And we change what the world does to us. So it's really the inner transformation that reflects, because if we think of the world differently, then people in our world start to respond differently, right? So the perception of how we see things is so important. And this is where the inner transformation helps, right? Focusing on abundance and solving big problems.
So yeah, quarter one was like this out-of-body euphoric experience for us, and I was under the impression that it was just going to go on forever. This is February, and the key thing to look at is the growth rate, 10.2%. This is March, 8.1%. This is April, 4.7%. So, look, it's still growing. It just put us in kind of a cash pinch. Like after March, everything just kind of stopped in April. And then we made a bunch of changes, probably half of which we shouldn't have made. We're transitioning to this account-based, like much higher penetration, much slower BDR strategy, effectively choking off that entire channel. And we've completely stopped all of this broad prospecting thing that we were doing before. So that's just naturally going to cause pipeline build to like slow down. We're just chugging along break even, which is very uncomfortable, and I hate running a business like that.
Yeah, you did. Look at that. I have to tell Mike that. That's fantastic.
I was initially worried that when the business started to slow down, the team would be like lose energy. Failure is inevitable. You can't be losing energy when you fail. You have to, in fact, gain energy because you learn something and you got closer to success. And the best work they do is when they are in this growth phase, when they're learning, right? That's when they get into the zone. So imagine how much of value can be unlocked of human potential when employers find a way to get their employees to kind of learn, grow, get into this zone, be truly inspired. It's that mindset that we talk about, right? It's the 10x mindset.
It's got bells and a light, so you know where she is when it gets dark. I just left it on the ground over there last time we were here.
It looks like the guys from the beginning of Terminator.
Yeah. Or the other thing it looks like is a Michael Jackson Thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now it's great. Now you can just hear her, and now once it gets dark, you'll see her too. Helen was like super dialed with that. I never want to put somebody in a situation that I wouldn't be willing to be in myself. I want to give more than I receive. I want to produce more than I consume. I want to treat others as I want to be treated. I think communication and then living those values gets it back to the right spot. I'm trying to be the best boss that I can be. There's only so much that you can panic about things that are totally out of your control, and like you just
How's it going? Morning. Good morning.
need to figure out how to deal with them or solve them or whatever.
inflation, recession, supply chain, employment, like blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you can't control any of that. I'm just not going to stress about things that I literally can't control whatsoever.
Well, that was it. Sweet. You guys want to ride home?
That was about to be not good. You never know with these. I've always had bad hips, but like from a lot of wake surfing and then running those uphill sprints, it's not like unbearable, but I feel like an old man because like I lean over and my face is clenched. But I'm still, it's like hiking with a 50-pound backpack doesn't hurt at all. It's strange, It's like just certain movements.
So lie on your back, if you would. So let's just look at right side.
The worst case scenario happened. We hired all these people and we absolutely crushed on the way up. We were making money the whole way. And then like at peak expenses, we just like hit a wall. We have a lot of smart people. They're all trying to do the right thing. When it's not working, you just question everything. I'm going on this solo hike next week, so I gotta just trying to get prepared, to where I'm not just slammed when I get back.
But I'll see you Thursday.
Cool, man.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, I left the key in the ignition. Nice. I think we gotta go top down again.
Where we are is just the beginning of the crisis. It's an intellectual problem to solve, not an emotional distress call.
I personally have not been very focused on product and customer success and sales over the last 5 months. And I personally am like jumping in right now to figure it all out and just make sure that the direction is, to me, it all seems so clear. I had really lost discipline in sort of like, how do I say this? I had definitely lost frugality in expenses. If you're talking about like building like the most solid long-term business, like we needed this to happen to us. Drinks in the fridge. We can like do what they do and sit at the table. Santosh said this really well. He's like, we were ferociously building the second story of our house and looked down and the foundation wasn't even there. When you frame it in that context, we were all just like, oh, what a great opportunity. Part of becoming an 800-pound gorilla is financial freedom, and we don't have that right now. And like, more important than anything is like getting back to that position in 90 days. Ooh, good game. And we're live. It's Adam Robinson, founder and CEO of Retention.com. The first 2 weeks of April stopped us dead in our tracks. And after dominating Q1, our plans were to continue expanding staff ever more rapidly because we thought we had nailed product market fit and a repeatable sales model, and we were off to the races with absolutely nothing to stop us. As it turns out, that's not quite yet the case. So
What do you do when you get knocked off your feet, especially when you've been screaming from a mountaintop about how hard you're crushing it and what lessons can be learned from all of this? Number one, most importantly, if you find yourself in a hole, the most important thing to do is stop digging. We just needed to stop. And we needed to regroup, and we needed to assess what was actually going on. Growth is great. When it's going a lot slower than you thought, it sucks. You know, I'm sure some people are nervous. Like, I'm nervous to the extent that like the potential is that I look like an asshole for saying all this stuff and just having it like be the opposite. Like, we're playing a long game thing with agency partnerships, playing a long game thing with BDR. Like, that's not, you know, short-term rapid growth, you know? So yeah, everyone left feeling much better than when they got there. Yeah, so this is April 2017. It says, I will build lead.com, which was what I was working on at the time that did not work, to a 2 million MRR business by my 42nd birthday. I will create the highest quality software product and staff I possibly can. I will inspire others to work on my project as though it were their own. I will sacrifice my lazy habits and lead a disciplined life in order to have the energy to inspire others and make this dream a reality. My 42nd birthday was 6 months ago. We're at 1.58 million MRR. And strangely, we're in this weird cash pinch right now, and that's the magic number. Still. 6 years later. I think we'll definitely be there by my 43rd birthday, so I'll take it. All right, y'all. I'm going to talk about like a few things. A third of it's product, 2/3 of it is just observations and reflections. So I love this quote. A quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. I agree with this quote that like individually, if you're pursuing excellence, it can be just such a rewarding experience. If you get in an environment where everyone around you is doing the same thing, it can be absolutely magical. The way that we're communicating is in this exponential way, the way that we're explaining products we're investing in and the potential, you know, this sort of shape of the S curve that we expect. I mean, I think we talk this way and it's very important. Santos talks about the power of communication, both internally and externally. I think being a living example of it, and then constantly communicating is the way we try to get people to be on board thinking this way and knowing that it's an environment that's what we're actually looking for. I want to make sure that by the 4th quarter of this year, all of this stuff is set up to where there is like an absolute euphoria, like, you know, wildfire spread of this. And I'm not that concerned with right now, you know, like, are we going to get to 50 million by the end of the year? I would be surprised. To reiterate, I think we're sort of right here. This is the Gartner hype cycle. I think we're in a trough of disillusionment right now, which is Q2. A lot of the other SaaS vendors in our space are feeling it.
I only see signs that we're on the way to the slope of enlightenment due to seasonality. I mean, I said 10 things in the offsite, but I think it's really important to keep in mind that this is like a really normal thing that happens when you create this massive arrival and amplify everything in the beginning. Like, this is just the natural course of human events.
Mike, you can lead the chat. Mike, give us a 1, 2, 3 pipeline. 1, 2, 3 pipeline.
From a sales standpoint, we have had no problems closing deals. We've got a product that works. We've got a lot of great social proof. We're in a really great spot when it comes to closing. Our biggest challenge is actually that we're lacking pipeline right now. And there's good times and there's bad times. And the bad times are actually really good for the company because it forces us to put processes and put operational plans in place. It's really forcing us to really get our shit together, essentially. If there's any team that's going to do this, it's the team that we've put together, and I truly mean that. Maybe not $1 billion, but I think we're going to be really proud of where we are at the end of the year. There's no doubt.
With me today, could not be more excited to have Santosh Sharan on the show. He has been so transformational to us. In your opinion, what made the successful teams successful and the unsuccessful teams remain stuck in the mud?
People want outcome to their effort in a straight line, especially in business, right? They make investment, they don't see outcome in like 3 weeks. They think that initiative sucks and they move on to the next thing. It's surprising how many times people have just so fixated on their way of finding solution, they block the solution that's right under their nose.
January 12th, 10 a.m. All caps, Marapost, ? WTF. Yesterday I listened to the Marapost podcast and fucking shit myself. This guy is unreal. 380 customers, 36 million ARR, took a $40 million investment to sell 25% of his equity. Enterprise sales metrics are insane. How and why are we not doing this? I feel stupid and like I can't catch up product-wise and feel like our product isn't good enough. Fuck it, it can be. Enterprise pricing is crazy. His UI is terrible. Can we bootstrap a process like his? And I ended it with, I want to cry. And double underlined. This is like so funny. Yeah, even when it's going, it's probably going to take longer than you think. Which, lo and behold, we're probably not going to hit 50 million ARR by the end of this year, despite me thinking so, 40 days ago. Being totally convinced, right? To recap, the teams that succeeded, they had a mindset that was open-minded enough and they thought freely enough to pursue nonlinear growth strategies. The companies that stayed flat were not willing to do that. And it was kind of their own undoing, right?
Yeah, no, we are trained in a way to not believe where we don't see evidence, right? So if you think about company growth, it's a direct correlation to personal growth, right? So if a company has to transform and become something bigger, all the team members and entrepreneur has to personally transform, right? And what that journey involves in terms of personal transformation is really trusting yourself, trusting the team members, trusting into the unknown, the universe that, once you embark on this journey, you'll get to the destination. Maybe not in a straight line because you don't know the path, right? You don't know but in a roundabout fashion, you'll find the path.
have to lay it all out once I get there again.
And what's the Tao Ching?
It's like a 2,000-year-old book of, they're kind of like verses, but it's like a very Eastern kind of, you could call it a religious text. My favorite one's number 17. I'll read it. When the master governs, the people hardly are aware that he exists. Next best is the leader who is loved. Next is the one who is feared. The worst of all is the one who is despised. If you don't trust the people, you make them untrustworthy. The master doesn't talk, he acts. And when his work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it all by ourselves.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Adam was just kind of quiet and really didn't blossom till junior high, I guess, when you say.
His personality changed for sure. I have friends who want their kids to be a doctor or a this or that. I really didn't care. I remember when Adam was in high school, and I was just kidding about this, but he was really good at convincing people of things. I remember our older one was not quite so interested in doing that, and he would not do it. But Adam, all of a sudden in high school, was trying to sell stuff to me. A lot of times it wasn't real, but he was trying to convince me of things. And I said, Adam, I think you're going to be an attorney or a this or that based on the way you're presenting this case to me now, right? I don't remember ever thinking they're going to, any of them, even our daughter, none of them, they're going to be this or that. I just wanted them to be happy, healthy, happy.
How do you feel, and how does this project and like all of the content that he's creating and how much he's putting himself out there, what is that like for you?
We don't have a clue what he's doing. He can explain it to us and it goes right. So go ahead.
How are your moments of interview?
It's over. That's all I can say.
Do you think it's over?
Oh, sorry. It's not really over, is it?
Judy, it's never over.
Yeah. What is life, right? Like I had this very, sheltered upbringing with these wonderful parents, and you go to college and it's like a little bit different, but it's still people telling you what to do. You must go here when this bell rings and stuff like that. And then you get into the wild, and I don't know, I just I'm gonna win at this game. So I assimilated to this world.
Do it. So slow, man. Yeah.
So do you have any plan for the trip, or you just kind of park and go for it?
Yeah, I'm gonna just get dropped off at this. I did it a couple years ago. I'm gonna just get dropped off at this trailhead and have my friend pick me up 6 days later. I spent 3 days at this hut that I found that was all locked up at this, not in it, but at the top of a mountain, and sort of did just day hikes last time, and it was really nice. So I may just sort of do that again, kind of explore the same area.
Are you feeling fully prepped for the trip, or is there, what's the mindset going into it right now?
I don't really have a lot of time to think about it. The mindset is I'm going. It's kind of a long way away from civilization. I just need like all the survival stuff. Yeah. Which it's like, you know, just making sure you have enough warm clothes and food. You don't forget anything. Are we filming?
Now?
Okay, so my friend Philip Meyer, who does a lot of this wilderness stuff, has instructed me to pack for these trips as follows. First, you get your house and you lay it out. You gotta make sure you have your tent, the skeleton to it, sleeping bag, 2 pillows, which Bonnie's chewing on. And then I have the survival stuff right here. And then, you know, you move over to your kitchen. And then from your kitchen, you just go over to like make sure that your clothing is dialed for every environment, which includes long underwear, pants, waterproof here, a puffer jacket, smart wool t-shirts, smart wool underwear, smart wool socks, 2 different thicknesses of gloves, some gaiters, and a cashmere sweater. The weather looks pretty good, right? But it's gonna be 30, like freezing at night up there. It'll be below freezing at night up there.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's survival problems, right? Like you need warmth to not die when it's freezing.
Makes sense.
So like, Philip would tell you, compass, lighter, not even fire starters, just a compass and lighter are some of the most important things. And then water purifiers on top if you plan on being lost for several days. It's just about, I think, like wherever you are in life, being able to take yourself out of it and reflect and sort of decide what you want. I think in a lot of ways, it's like a lot about boundaries. It's like, okay, like, you know, you get sort of caught up in the day-to-day of everything and moved left, right, and center by everybody. It's like, what do I really want, you know, the next 2 years to be until I do this again? You know, that's kind of what it's about. She thinks we're spending a week in the wild together as co-pilots, and she has no idea that I'm just gonna leave her here. If you wanna go on a hike all day, she's in. If you wanna just stay in bed all day, she's in. Like she just like doesn't care. She just wants to hang, you know? Stay, 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 stay. Bonnie's just like totally convinced of what's happening here. She's like, we're going on the plane, we're gonna go camping. This is so exciting. We're gonna have such a great week together. I feel so lucky to be part of this trip. Now she sort of knows she's not going. The sadness in her eyes. Like, when I start doing this, like, the sadness of this dog. Do you see it? Like, she's like about to cry. Oh, look, it's Helen Sharp. Helen Sharp. Are you done weaving?
Oh my god. I got this like solar powered charger thing like to charge my phone and I don't think I'm using it right. Anyways, I'm in the car because I wanted to call you and say hi before you left.
Oh,
I was like so sad that I wanted to talk to you last night.
Oh. I did nothing last night. I watched 2 movies in a row. I was in bed at 4:30 p.m.
Oh nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you inside because we're just like right in the way. Okay. Okay, bye. Love you.
Practicing.
Yeah.
Say some words.
This is heavy. And we're very high altitude.
Yeah. This is just the beginning, though. We're gonna see what happens.
So, off I go. I'm headed up Woody Creek Trail in Laredo for 6 days of quiet contemplation. It's currently Sunday at around 9 a.m. and I'm getting picked back up at Friday, 3:30 p.m. There we go.
Hello, Mountain Man.
You made it.
What are your feelings?
I feel fantastic.
Love that. That's a good word.
Everybody should do this.
Yes, 100%.
When I was on the trip, I decided that I'd like to spend a longer, more concentrated amount of time with Emma. And that's what this is. It was just a Wednesday morning. Part of what I've been saying is I think it's helpful to remove yourself from your day-to-day so you can sort of look at your life and how you're living it and decide if there's any kind of bigger picture stuff that you want to do differently. At least I feel that way. So this is one of the things. One of the best things a person can do for themselves is to be in nature for many days, like not one, not two, like 4, 6, 7, 2 weeks, whatever, and by themselves and not like listening to podcasts and reading books and filling their heads with all sorts of different ideas. Just because I don't think people get the chance to reflect in their daily life. What do you think, girly? I really am at peace internally. Like I am at peace in my heart with what is happening all around me. You know, the team I'm working with, the problems we're solving, my family, the lifestyle we have, the community that we've built. Like I just really feel like I want more of what I have. That was actually a realization. I'm like, wow, like this is everything I've always wanted. This is the building that I lived in for 12 years, that one. And the apartments they're floor throughs all the way from this door to the end of the block. A floor through is just like, it's one unit. It's massive, yeah. I moved in 2005. They moved in at the end of 2003. And this was a parking lot. And one of the reasons they all moved out was because they had to listen to this construction project happen, which was, as you can imagine, pretty loud. That's literally why I got Bose headphones, like, so fucking loud. This is like high-end residential, like When I moved here, this was I mean, it's like City Hall, you know, there's like, this is crazy that there's like a nice coffee shop here, you know? There were definitely times when I was like single in New York and I was like, I don't want kids, like I want to keep living this life. I was living a very, very fun-driven existence, right? Like, and it's still fun. It's just like a different, I think it's like a higher baseline with way lower highs and way higher lows. But like it's much sort of steadier and the trajectory is better. The rest of the year is about making more and spending less every month and like getting us back to this position of, you know, incredible financial indestructibility. Certainly a different path than I thought it was going to be in January, February, March, but I'm glad that it happened because we have this product that we have not officially launched yet that I mean, it could be the biggest thing ever. Like,
coming up next, we've got two completely bootstrapped founders. One we've met, they're not founders, but Ben is the president of True Classic, which we met earlier. And then joining him will be Adam Robinson, the co-founder, or the sole founder of Retention.com, also bootstrapped. And again, moderated by Ethan. So please give it up for Ben and Adam.
Don't know what you both do. Why don't you deep dive? I can't believe anyone couldn't know what you guys do, but why don't you deep dive into it? Tell us what Retention does and then talk about your company.
Cool, so I'll go first. Retention.com helps you create revenue out of your anonymous website.
We have entered the realm of solving what is now probably the largest problem in the internet right now, which is very exciting. I've just done enough of these things to know that you just have no idea how it's gonna go until you're like in the middle of it. I'm just very, very constructive on solving this problem and how good it is for our company to be in the business of solving this problem for like the next 2 or 3 years.
Guys, thank you so much for doing this talk with me. And I think we have one more on stage before lunch, right? Thanks, everyone.
All right, so you guys haven't picked up on it. Retention.com is like the shrooms of e-commerce. Everybody does it, nobody talks about it, but it's kind of good, right? It's not bad. Coming up next, we've got our biggest panel.
I want to get back, as Diana said, get back to who we used to be. Strong growth, highly profitable, highly efficient, high revenue per employee is exactly what I consider an incredible operation.
Your profile acquisition, whatever it may be, right? But
And we're basically bridging this gap between anonymous and identified. We're involved in a bunch of publisher identity pools that are used to serve. Hardly anyone really makes it before they have been banging their head against the wall for 10 years. That's what my podcast is called. I just think it's the most true part of this whole thing. It's really hard for me to try to put myself in a position to where I'm choosing to just punch the card, sit there, and be unfulfilled, cruising, knowing that there's an alternative. I'm living the alternative. I'm not sure what's going to happen over the next 6 months. But just thematically, I'm very excited about it. So we just did this rebrand and like they presented one option. I was super underwhelmed, looked like any other software company, whatever. And then the next option they presented, the dude's like, I just spent a bunch of time in Barcelona and I loved street art. And it is so loud and like in your face and just screams, I don't give a fuck. And the colors are fucking weird. I just like saw it and it made me uncomfortable, and I love that. I've never seen anything like it, because when brands hear what we do for the first time, it also makes them uncomfortable. And we're live. It's Adam Robinson, founder and CEO of Retention.com. One of the criticisms that I've had about the content I'm making is that I'm sharing a ton of information about the business that I'm building, but no one has any idea what Retention.com actually does. So here we go. What do? We use identity to help direct consumer e-commerce brands, specifically Shopify stores with above $5 million in annual revenue, do three things. One, grow their email list 10 to 15 times faster. 2, grow their abandoned cart revenue by up to 5x. And 3, grow their meta retargeting audiences by up to 40%. I just redid this a little while ago, and I still hate it. Retention.com is an identity platform that helps Shopify stores drive up to 250% more Klaviyo revenue, lower meta CPAs up to 20%, and capture deliverable emails for up to 30% of anonymous web traffic, even if they don't fill out a form. It's just too much of a mouthful. Problem is we don't really have product pages yet. It's like you click how it works, and this doesn't tell me how it works. I mean, it's like, the fundamental problem is it's not clear what we do and how we do it. And this situation here is still what the old one was, which is very confusing to people. You have to like scroll down through it to get it to do what it needs to do. This is just like pissing me off even looking at it, to be honest. Maybe after a cup of coffee, I'll be able to whip up something better than that right now and just change it. So the thing that I was struggling with the most is we're layering more stuff on. It becomes increasingly difficult to describe what it is that we do. Like Grow, we're collecting all of these emails from people that didn't fill out a form, but you have to put them in your newsletter and email them. Reclaim is an automation. We're just like fueling something you've already set up in Klaviyo with more triggers effectively, and it's like driven by behaviors that someone else takes on the website. It's not really your thing. So even just explaining the difference between those is somewhat complicated. I literally just like didn't know how to deal with that. But then I realized we really have two types of products, and there's two different platforms. One type of product grows your audience in both Klaviyo and Meta, and it grows your audience from the anonymous visitors on your site. The other product is a signal product. Uses identity to figure out who people are and then send a signal to both Klaviyo and Meta so that those platforms can do stuff. That's how I think we should explain things. A headline that I came up with, which I actually like, which applies no matter what we do, is email revenue up, Meta CPA down. That's a thought of an initial above the fold headline for the whole site. It's like, that's what's going to happen. That's the value. That's the value proposition for literally everybody.
Gotcha.
No matter what they fucking do. My elevator pitch is like not good right now, you know, and that's what it needs to be on the website. What's motivating is our product works, which is so amazing because so many products don't work. And like this new product works. It's just a matter of exactly who it works for and exactly sort of how we're going to reach them. There's nothing healthier than completely rebuilding your identity. Forced isn't the right word, but like I had to do it because of my Wall Street career. Like there is nothing about my job in my life then, very little has any overlap with, you know, what it is now. It's totally disparate sort of skill sets or whatever. And that's what makes you strong and confident, you know, becoming more than you are in like a totally new way is like gotta be the most fulfilling thing you could possibly do. I'm going to talk about the blend and retarget method for implementing Grow. This is the safest way to prospect your Grow contacts, and we insist. Integrity is incredibly important, and having a culture of complete trust and transparency between you and your coworkers facilitates velocity, which I think is like the most important thing in business growth. And there's no time being wasted verifying the truth of anything. So how do you create an environment of high integrity? Well, first and foremost, you have to lead by example. You have to behave with utmost integrity yourself if you expect anyone else to follow suit. So what do I want people to think about when they think of intention.com? I am trying to build the most trustworthy brand in an untrustworthy space. The hope is that we can somehow create a category that identifies what we do, probably on-site visitor identification, something like that. And that means something to people because it means nothing now. And we are like clearly the market leader in that, without question. That would be my dream and what I'm aspiring to in that regard. Core business, it just feels so differently than it did 2 months ago. And it's like it feels like it's much clearer. There's just much less drama. It feels good, kind of spiritually, I guess is a good word, like emotionally, to like know that everybody is on the same page of like trying to get a system in place that doesn't drive us insane.
This is really cute. I was telling Adam I want to stay in Santa Fe for another week. I was like, I don't want to go home yet. It's so nice here. Stay with Emma for another week while he goes to his off-site.
Look at this big window. It's
wow.
cool, huh? That's a nice one right there.
This is a cool
loves
house.
the architecture.
I just love Adobe.
Yeah. She posts.
Yeah, she's gonna be a horseback rider, a little hunter jumper. Well, that makes me nervous.
I got her.
Her falling like back like that.
No, I got her feet. She's not falling.
show you this.
No.
Hit play on that.
Oh, dude, sweet.
I've been time lapsing the whole progress of it.
That's fucking awesome. So I'm moving offices because, well, the idea of the Jasper office, well, I loved working with those guys because we would kind of shoot the shit or whatever. But like, they stopped coming in. I loved this idea of living and working on this block that I love so much in Clarksville, in Austin. An office popped up on my street. It's not super nice. With the help of John, we're hopefully making it like a dope space and a really cool place to capture a lot of podcast-ish footage to amplify the LinkedIn stuff that we're doing now. It's like really nice to be in the neighborhood.
I'm gonna put you over there, just because Uncle Lou can't see
she
that well with the sun right now.
Yeah, Bonnie loves to just sort of.
Yeah, she likes to be in the flow.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Actually.
Sometimes in the wrong spot, but very passionate about it.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. What does Apollo do?
Apollo is a Zoom info that's like low. So the disruption that, and this other company Lucia did at the same time too, but the disruption that they did when Santos. So I think that I'm in the middle of changing the direction of a lot of my founder brand content because we're creating a product for B2B SaaS companies rather than Shopify stores, and they're all on LinkedIn. They're salespeople that we're selling to and founders, and they're doing their jobs on LinkedIn, trying to sell to other people on LinkedIn. Just recently, I seem to have been cracked a code on creating very viral posts, and the initial product reception is very good in the first place, and the D2C founder brand content wasn't really generating leads. It was kind of doing something different than that. And it appears as though this will, well, it already is. It's directly generating leads for beta testers, just from doing it. So when you see something like that, and the reason you were doing it in the first place was to help your business, it's hard to not want to spend all the time dedicated to that. Somebody said this on some podcast I listened to. They're like, the good ideas just keep coming back. It's like, and then how I have always conceived of products is just by talking to people and gauging the look on their face as you articulate it. And the more people that I explained this product to, and how, who were in my shoes, right? Like had some salespeople or whatever.
Yeah.
And like explain to them how it was different than the products in the market. They were like, I will buy that.
Yeah.
Like in the price, So that was kind of a first start. And then, and then Diana's like, well, let's just get like
Santos, probably since like our first or second conversation, he was like, I know, like I'm telling you, like there's tons of value to this technology in B2B. No one's doing identity this way. I was like, well, maybe there's a chance. What I had failed to realize basically is like, for people who have a sales org and they have BDRs, there's actually tremendous value in just handing the leads of people that were on the site, their LinkedIn URL, their phone number or whatever, and the pages they were looking at to the sales org every day. Because, it's obvious why. Like they're better leads than the leads they're dealing with, than buying them from ZoomInfo or Apollo.io or whoever. We kind of just plan to price it in a way to where it's like an absolute no-brainer, like $500 a month or something.
I've been trying to like hone in my LinkedIn game just because, or my founder brand game in general, just because I had this feeling that I wasn't really doing it the right way.
Yeah.
And this coach I'm working with is fantastic. And I was explaining to him the product, and he's like, man, if you have something that you're selling to salespeople, like LinkedIn will be unbelievably effective. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna just start screwing around with LinkedIn content for salespeople and see what happens. And I created these like 3 incredibly viral posts, 3 posts in a row in a week. So it was like, okay, the top of funnel for this is incredibly encouraging. Yeah, that's really nice. So, that's basically like, it's just amazing for a lot of reasons. Emma!
I usually like to start with the gong and then play the bowls, and then I finish with these guys. These koshi chimes that are like the sweetest things. Then I got these bowls, these Tibetan bowls. And these are a lot more, it just takes like a lot more to get them to like sing. And they all go to a different chakra system. So, I mean, this one is for the solar plexus. And then this one is the heart, the third eye, and sacral. And I'm just setting up now because we have a sound healer she's like a sound alchemist coming to the house to give us all sound healing sessions, and she wants to use my stuff, so.
I learned a lot from sort of distancing myself from core principles that I know are meaningful to me, but like also it's so fortunate to have stumbled upon this at this position, with like the revenue and now the profitability that we have and the brand recognition and the skill set of this founder brand. We're going to get back to being very profitable, and hopefully, I think the goal of 2 million MRR by my 43rd birthday, which is November 10th, is what we're trying to do. Yeah, man, very pumped. It's the life I've always wanted, and probably the future with remote work. Everybody's gonna wanna be zero commute, 2 blocks away from home, doing it this way. I'm excited about having the studio, for sure. I was not that crushed when I found out that Jasper didn't have space for me anymore. It'd be a really different deal if Dave was in the office every day and we were actually doing that. Really what it was me sitting in that closet with all my recording equipment and having a pitch black hallway outside and a beep going on every 10 seconds. Look Look at that. Sweet. Filling some stuff in here. I love it, dude. Looks rad. How's it look on camera? Yeah, that looks cool. Sweetness. I view a lot of my job in general as like figuring out what's next. Now what's next is, can we sell this to B2B? One of the problems that I always had with the founder brand that I was making for the LinkedIn stuff, and in general, people weren't connecting with it. I don't know at all what it is like to be owner of a brand with 3 million revenue or 25 million or 100 million or 100,000. I different set of, yeah, we all hire and fire people. That's probably it. We all have to make a good product, right? But aside from that, they're dealing with a completely different reality than I am.
And we're not going to do the 6 steps though, right?
I think hitting on all of the points.
Cool.
What did we do? What was the change from one? Basically, this video needs to be like, what was different about 1 to 10 million?
Yeah.
What changed between 1 to 10 million, 10 to 20?
Right. 27 months. Okay. Are you rolling?
Oh wait, you want me to record? Yeah, probably. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. The great thing about this is I'm the subject matter expert. Like, I am a B2B founder who does need leads, who like pipeline is my biggest problem. You know, so it's very, and I did chop all our BDRs, right? Like it's like I can say these things and there's deep truth to them, which is another thing that I'm excited about. Like I can actually finally be this person who's like stirring the pot and it can be credible. I do think I'm actually good at the LinkedIn stuff now. Like the stuff that I'm writing, it's like generating the right type of audience. It's getting a lot of engagement.
So this will be almost like a new lead gen.
Yeah.
So maybe $200, $300. So you have to figure out the right price. But yeah, it's the exact same B2B solution, just packaged a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Could be great for asset sharing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how much somebody would pay for that.
Right.
Because on one hand, you're like, it's kind of a bad lead because it's these people who don't want to pay me. I do not have a huge role in the D2C business right now. I mean, we've built a pretty good motion for the existing business. And I think as you get more resources, you can hire people to handle things. I always like to start businesses with what I feel like is an unfair advantage, you know? And this feels like an unfair advantage to me. Just the combination of everything I have done till now has given me the ability to write about sales and pipeline from the perspective that I currently have in the seat that I'm currently in. I kind of just think that the goal is to do experiments that have the minimum possible amount of distraction until they appear to be paying off, and then sort of open up the aperture, you know, as we are getting stuff back. It seems like it's like a cooked goose. Like, you know, before we had B2B and before we had Project B.
Yeah, we have better things to spend our time on.
It's just things have changed, you know, and I think you gotta you gotta know when to.
Yeah, 2 cards. Yeah, that's the thing about experimentation. You throw out
but then you don't need to go on the rebel from some. Or keep going. Just gotta order an Uber. There's a problem, I think, when you get to where you have 50 employees-ish, that doesn't necessarily exist when you have like 15, where communication is like a big problem. Product teams getting what they're working on, you know, it's like, how does the sales and CS team know what product's working on, or know what's on the roadmap, or know where we're at with certain features, get a good understanding of it, like, and vice versa, you know, it's just a problem. Santosh highlighted the fact that, you know, sometimes for a leader, it's all about just like saying the same exact thing over and over and over again. We didn't get to 50 million or anywhere close, but like being at 20 and profitable with the irons we have in the fire is like wonderful. We're growing, we're profitable. We have this super cool new thing we're working on, you know, that's very exciting. Everything we're trying to do seems incredibly achievable. It feels really good to me.
Once the data was all aggregated,
what does it really take to admit your shortcomings? It takes like really a lot of comfort in your own skin. Welcome. This is awesome. I'm so glad that we all got to get together in person because it's very valuable. I'm going to do, I think, maybe 10 minutes total on a reflection on the last 12 months and things that I feel like I got wrong and lessons that I learned that hopefully have us in a much better place than we were then. Velocity, I don't think was a culprit. Velocity and FOMO are like really different. I think FOMO is sort of getting caught up in the euphoria and just like grabbing, you know, sort of greedily or whatever. That attitude, I think, is terrible. It's just not the way to build like a strong foundation. We had this like euphoria at the end of last year when we started bringing people on where, I mean, I personally thought this was a super fast sale. You didn't need experienced AEs. It was easy to onboard people. It was this incredible product that just worked. And it was easy, which in hindsight, that seems stupid. I actually think this 50 million ARR goal, while it was, it seemed at the time like it was like very achievable with what were the signals we were getting in January. It just led to this whole series of decisions. But the lesson learned is to be grounded in my optimism and, you know, if anything, try to be a little bit conservative when, you know, we're dealing with organizations of this size. So I just wanted to give that reflection and yeah, it's like pride and ego is like a strange thing. Everything that I've learned until now is like why it's going to work better this time. You know, I've done so many big bets on things that didn't work, and I'll continue to, and they'll continue to not work, but like, hopefully I'm not making the same mistakes that I did on prior big bets. You know, despite screwing all of that up, we still managed to grow 75% in 12 months and went from 12 million to 20 million ARR, which is great. I mean, I just think we can do a lot better.
So we are going to do another icebreaker round. This is called Photoshop Fun. So what we have done, we have mishmashed some headshots. Your job is to guess who the two people are in the mishmash that you're looking at.
And there are prizes.
There were multiple times in the last several months, if not a year, that we ran into kind of trouble. But I was super proud of how the team kind of bounced back. When you're trying to achieve something difficult or unattainable, the process consists of a lot of experimentation, a lot of throwing spaghetti on the wall, right? Some stick, some don't. And the key is not to expect that all of them will yield in a positive outcome. Some won't. Failure is inevitable, right? But what successful teams do is they don't let these failures kind of emotionally drag them down. And that's exactly what I saw with the retention team, right? We brushed ourselves and we learned and we kind of regrouped and we were back the next day trying to take another stab at it.
Who was it?
What? You got Kyle.
Kyle and Alex. Kyle and Mario.
Kyle and David.
Nope.
It's just Kyle, guys. Females.
All right. Kyle and Mike. Sounds like y'all are stumped.
The reason companies fail is because people run out of money, full stop. Thank God we don't have investors right now. I mean, not that they would be like devastated. I just would probably find myself on Zoom calls trying to explain, what happened and what we got wrong. I don't want to take any money from anybody until we're at a point where this is absolutely bulletproof, just from a financial and operational and like reporting standpoint.
Make sure you guys, let's give a round of applause to Adam and Diana for really the opportunity to be together. So
Special shout out to Kelly.
Hey. Well, it's been my responsibility to go over what we learned today. So I was just amazed as we went through all of these presentations about how sophisticated we're getting from both a product standpoint and a go-to-market standpoint. This is really a competitive advantage. It's very hard to do what we're doing with this amount of people, keep it coordinated, keep it crushing. So great.
Getting any software business to profitability, still sort of like surviving and growing a little bit and not just like, a like clear path to the ground is so monumental of a feat. And, it can just keep you experimenting.
And last but not least, I mean, let's leave that up for another minute.
My philosophy is give it as little as possible until it shows a ton of promise with hardly any resources, then try to put the pedal to the metal. I think starting off small, if you want a long career as an entrepreneur, is prudent. Like, what if I raised $1 million for Robley? I don't know what would have happened, but it would have gone differently. Paycheck Protection Program winds down, we at Getty Meals are replacing one great American program with another. We are announcing, instead of the PPP,
whatever Michelle Obama would say,
the GGG, the Great Getty Meals.
There's like a deep humility in most people that comes from doing this for a really long time. The reason you would become an entrepreneur in the first place is because you're totally out of touch with the odds that you'll actually make it. You just start, you think that you know more and are better than you are by 1 million X. And then pretty quickly you realize that you know absolutely nothing.
Rest of your life, no credit card required. Duh. Click there to learn more. What up, dude? Don't worry.
You guys.
All good, man.
How are you?
All good.
Welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Ron.
John. Nice to meet you, man.
If I typed in, can you search LinkedIn messages? Like if I typed in advisor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, since September 1, I've had 7 people ask me to be an advisor. I am an advisor for 2 people, by the way. There are other Shopify apps that were like, very early on, and they asked me, basically I was like, I can do like an hour a month or 2 or whatever. All I'm gonna be able to do, I can't help you figure your product out because that's too hard. I can tell you what I'm doing with go-to-market and what I think is working and not. And they were both like, great. You see somebody who is where you think you need to go, and you think that person knows what's best for you, but they do not. In most cases. I had a million conversations where I'm just reaching for people who have no idea the complexity of the situation and holding on to the advice they're giving like way too dearly because pure luck, whether or not it is actually good advice or not. Everyone, comes from where they're coming from. It's a weird thing to say, but like any advice would have like eliminated the lesson of learning it the hard way, which is like the real way to learn stuff. Hey, this is my kind of way to acquire data.
Excellent. Okay, so what are these 4 books that you got here?
So I got 3.
Oh, 3, sorry. So what are these 3 books?
The first one, which was probably the first one that I read in the journey was the famous and infamous 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Really good sort of shoving you off the traditional way of thinking about work, I thought. These are really good books. Remote and Rework. If you actually want to start a tech startup, this very dense book that reads like a textbook is called The 4 Steps of the Epiphany. And I tell everyone to get this if they actually want to start a startup and try to follow it as closely as possible. It's like traditional wisdom would be you build a product and then you launch it and you then would like have customers come to you or whatever. You go find them or whatever. This guy's philosophy is you need to be developing your customer base as you're developing the product at the same time. I don't know if Helen's home or not, but I think she is. And I got to be back at 1 for the all hands. Taco Flizzle. This guy who's an incredible entrepreneur named Wiley Sorelli. He's not super famous, but a company that was in our old space, Constant Contact, bought his company called Single Platform. He like made a pitch deck and changed it till he could get seed funding. And then he literally made other pitch decks and was walking around to restaurants in New York, getting them to sign up for this thing that didn't exist. He'd get them to write a check and then they'd hand him the check and be like, cool, I don't have this yet, but when I do, you're going to be the first customer on it. You want to do the whole thing?
Yeah, open the thing.
Helen wants to open the thing.
he figured out who the customers were like before he even started building. Maybe that would have been valuable advice, like build, work on your sales pitch first or something. I don't know. Build less.
Bonnie likes to snuggle sometimes, but she likes to get up and go. And she does not like the sick person. When you were sick, she did not like you and she wanted to be with me. It's true.
She doesn't.
She wants the
She
strong,
knows-
healthy person.
she knows you're
if
sick.
You're sick, she's like, ew, like I'm out of here.
She knows you're sick. Bonnie, you're a little bitch.
Love you. Have a good day.
You too. I'm gonna bring the dog and I'll bring her back.
See ya. So do you go home for lunch every day?
No. Probably make it once, twice a week if I'm lucky. It's more than I used to working at Jasper. Oh, look who it is. Bye, Helen. That's awesome. My buddy Trevor has been trying to figure out what to do with his life for like 2 years. And he started making these bars and everybody loves them. They're bison and almond, super high protein. It has like all these like metabolic and brain effects. He's also like the guy that I bring on the boat who can also drive the boat and like help people with wake surfing and everything. And so I can like coach and stuff. Jack Savage from Everyday Dose has like kind of taken him under his wing. It's great. It's like he just sees an identical playbook for Trevor and Man Bar as the playbook he's used for Everyday Dose. It's like absolutely crushing it, which is awesome. I don't know how to build one of these companies, so it's like cool that I can like bring him around these people and they're interested in like helping him out or whatever. A lot of people are not even in a position to where they will hear advice. The opportunity that I had for myself at the time, if it presented itself again, where I am right now, I wouldn't even pursue it. But the advice at the time would have been, go learn what you need to learn from that opportunity, because it's what's in front of you. The only advice I have for people who haven't started is that it will be longer than you can ever imagine. It will take so much longer to succeed than you ever imagine. Try to spend as little money as possible, which no one ever does, me included, in the beginning, because you will be in a dire position at some point where you wish you would have saved, and try to make your product as good as you can, which kind of doesn't mean anything to anyone, to someone who's just starting. Yeah. So.
We don't own the building, so the landlord did the murals and a lot of the neon.
But like it's nice, Austin weird, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
it was
super
like
cool.
totally my vibe.
Yeah. It's great, man.
Yeah, so we got 7 barbers. The best barbers in Austin. Peter owns a company called French Store.
Yeah, I know that brand. I've been in there. I've worked out in that warehouse
His
before.
video got like 30 million views on YouTube Shorts and millions of views on the long form. Craig's another one of our guys.
Do fewer things, but do them much better. I think that's a really good motto. We did a bunch of stuff last year. It was definitely not a focused effort at all. You are using the Shopify product, right?
Yeah.
We're making one for B2B SaaS companies that resolves to a LinkedIn URL and gives the whole page view history also of like 40% of like a B2B SaaS company's visitors.
I have no idea what you're saying.
People visit the site, instead of giving you an email address, we'll actually give a LinkedIn URL, which is what a sales team wants.
Okay. basically the things that I want to talk about are going to be like all the shit that you get asked all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, how's it legal? How's it work? Yeah, totally.
The other thing is try to keep the mic relatively close to your mouth.
Yeah.
On the other side of the table from me, Adam.
Hello.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing well. You don't hear a lot of intros like that?
No, that took me by surprise, I'll be honest. I was trying to think of it. Am I gonna mirror this entirely? And just we're gonna do the whole podcast in that.
Yeah. Just voice. A lot of energy at the front, a lot of energy at the back.
If you approach it the way I do and you're trying stuff all the time, like so much of that is wrong. That you are forced to realize that most of what you come up with actually sucks. I think people have too many BDRs, and like we did, there's just this thing going on in the world where as I pull away from creating content for D2C, I'm very concerned about, our marketing in general. The in real life stuff's great, but like we need a presence like Triple Whale and the other stuff. Like we need a good D2C podcast. I don't think I should do it. Like we need, community stuff. And there's an in real life selling motion that needs to occur that requires a lot of people to do. And that's going to trade shows, it's throwing small events, it's just being out there. And at the same time, it produces more leads, and you can't just survive with one salesperson when you have 15 people out there creating activity in the world. I can't fly around to D2C events and B2B events and be at home. It's just you can't do all that stuff. So we have a guy trying to figure it out right now.
Are you sure you can do both? I don't want to.
Yeah, now I get everything.
Oh, those are the slices I was for.
Poor
Gotcha.
John. Welcome to your new,
Yeah.
your new job.
Are we getting a picture? Or are we
Okay.
speaking?
We're just gonna speak.
speaking.
We'll do some random stuff. All right. Well, if you know retention.com, you know we love our pizza. Done a number of pizza tours now, and Julia really wanted to get out and try some of these pizza shops we keep talking about. So we got Dave, our traditional New Yorker here, touring us around. Dave, where are we at today?
Joe's Pizza.
And
Joe's.
Famous.
Famous Joe's. And then next up we're hitting John's.
Yeah.
Some other good spots. When I went to the last pizza tour was Zillions in Times Square was very good. And I don't remember the other two, but Zillions was my favorite, had the best pepperoni slice.
All right, good to know. Let's dig into this one.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Solid 9. Solid 9.
Still, a little bit of crust on the undercarriage.
You like the pepper, hot pepper?
Oh, it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
That's good right there.
If I were to completely disappear from the D2C business, it would be much less of a big deal than if, for instance, Kyle disappeared from it. He's basically running this in real life sales motion that we have, which is really important.
That's good. This is fun.
I love it. I have just always thoroughly enjoyed networking and events and meeting people and hearing their stories and talking. I just really saw this as an opportunity to mix that and kind of being right there on the spot, talking to people, hearing these stories, sharing my own stories, and just trying to bring a little more like face and fun to the brand, and just not always sell.
I can see you in that, Dave. You'd have to get it hemmed, of course.
I got this end.
Wow. We are here in LA. There's nothing you love better.
I love t-shirts, dude.
They love you love like a chilled t-shirt.
I love a t-shirt. Shirts aren't chilled.
Wow. I have both of these, and I take a scoop of both and put them in my shaker cup with ice, water, and a little bit of milk, and shake it up, and that's my morning coffee.
called Mezcla. Is it right, Mezcla?
Yep.
Pro Mix. I don't know what that means, but shit's probably pretty good, right? Yeah.
We're trying to keep the bigger stuff with like Adam and what he's doing with Founder Brand for like the bigger talks, and still keeping that with him. Whereas what we're going to be doing, getting out there with the brands, we want to feel a little more like real and connected with the community, and also trying to tie in other people from our team. So, the sales reps and content and partners that we have that are also at the events with us, just trying to capture a little bit of their stories as well.
Will this turn on?
Yeah, just hold it down.
Oh God, so scary. Okay, here we go. The ultimate sour. Okay. Good luck. So if you could guess, how much do e-commerce stores lose each year in sales because of cart abandonment issues? So this is what you guys are really known for?
Yes.
This is the good stuff. Okay.
I need a blooper reel for this, guys.
We will. John's good at all that stuff.
Love.
16 billion, 560 million, or $1 million. There's a lot going on in my mouth right now. Each year.
I would say the 560 million.
You know what? That's a really good answer, but it's wrong. 16 billion. Yo, Dave, is that you before you shaved off your goatee?
Never mind, you're on the.
Oh my God, that's your buddy. That's your title. It's Blaine.
David Blaine?
Oh shit. That is David Blaine.
It's definitely nice not having to go to everything. Less travel is better, full stop. Let's draw rainforest animals. Ooh. Draw a horizontal branch. Look for that. When times are pleasant, the stories get boring. It's like just a sad reality of this. It's like the chaos and turmoil and like, oh my God, like let's just go as fast as possible recklessly. Like all that's so much more interesting than just like, we have like a really solid, profitable and growing core business. And like we're, taking a very cautious but major upside, play in this new space. It's like, well, that's not that exciting. Where are the fires?
That could be interesting to say. Yeah, we identify buyers on your site before they fill out a form.
But we de-emphasize the technical aspect or IP2, like the de-anonymize, just something that doesn't make people as uncomfortable.
I don't think it'll answer their question as well, though, is the problem. There's this other problem where, increasing comp plan complexity. The D2C business is at the stage where the artist has like defined what the work is, the medium, the materials, and literally has like a blueprint for what it's going to be. That's the stage of that business. For this B2B side, it's still super early. Everything is undefined.
I've had conversation with many buyers of B2B data, tools, and in the last 12 months, I must have spoken to over 100 C-level folks of companies that either build solutions in B2B or go-to-market tools, or they buy go-to-market tools, probably definitely more than 100. And based on what I'm seeing, it does feel like we are at a pivotal point. Something new is required, except nobody knows what that is, and I hope we are on the right path.
It is 2023. I do not believe that demand is created by BDR teams anymore. I think that BDR teams capture demand. I think that you can accomplish 90% of what this very large BDR team accomplishes with one very gifted person. People don't want to talk to sales until they're about to buy. There's some Gartner research that's wild. It's like in 2021, 43% of people didn't want to talk to salespeople. In 2023, 78% of people don't want to talk to salespeople. So they want to do their own research, and they don't want to talk to a salesperson until they're literally ready to buy something and they've already made up their mind who the vendor is. The old way was you had this big team and, they were doing personalized high-touch outreach. And the new way is we're calling it buyer-led sales.
I love buyer-led sales. I love the whole framework. Do you want to introduce that as it's just something we kind of start to layer in.
I think there'll be 20 posts or several posts on this, right? We can take a stab at from different angle.
But maybe it starts with a headline like, your SDR team's broken because buyers don't want to talk to them.
We are trying to live how future of sales will be in B2B, and future of B2B sales will also take inspiration from DTC sort of go-to-market strategies. And we are the perfect company to deliver this solution given our history is in DTC, right? We are having a lot of fun building this new world, or even just discussing amongst ourselves. There's a lot of excitement because none of this exists out there. We are pioneering B2B sales in a way, right?
If you would have told me in January, calm down, your two biggest problems are just closing bigger deals and reducing churn, it wouldn't have struck me as something that was impossible. I would have been like, oh, that makes sense, because that's almost every growing SaaS company's two biggest problems. I don't know how this B2B thing is going to pan out, but I think it has the potential to be, well, I'm really excited about it. The $1 billion challenge, I said the whole time, I don't really care if we get to it. It's just like a bold thing.
$50 million by the end of this year was crazy, but somehow now it appears as though we're ahead of schedule.
There's so much growth ahead, but you don't know exactly what it looks like. Things are accelerating at an unbelievable rate.
I messaged him and a couple of the other VPs. I'm like, this is the first day of the path to 100 million.
And then at that moment, we were like, okay, now it's time to be borderline irresponsible in how fast we grow this thing. So how do we believe these unbelievable things? Like we're going to grow to $1 billion in revenue, being only 20 million now. I think the lesson to not declare that next time is so valuable that I think for me personally, it was probably worth going through and experiencing all that pain. Just so that I know the next time I feel that FOMO to like, just stick to what the DNA of our company is, you know?
You guys, thanks for being here. But yeah.
There's a lot of things that make it rewarding to be an entrepreneur and horrible. It's like very analogous to an unfettered sort of human existence, if you want to put it that way. I want to be running a growing, profitable business that, you know, treats employees and customers well and like the product's valuable. You know, it's kind of this thing that you can keep working on and it's helping everyone, you know, and that's what I've always strived for. I don't think that changed this year. It's just, we thought the trajectory was different and we could go a lot faster and didn't really care about the goal, but thought it was an audacious goal to go after. Yep. A company is much more valuable than a tool. Part of bringing Santosh on and doing everything we did, the end result of it was going to be a company, like for sure. You know, part of what we knew we needed to do is do that and like create systems and, you know, figure out, build a machine of people that builds itself, right? Like that's the ultimate kind of goal. So this is a spreadsheet that I used to use to track our progress at Robly, my first company. And then when we launched Get Emails, I had been reading a bunch of stuff in the Y Combinator blog that was around growth and how if usually when things got bad for people and they got burnt out or whatever, it's because they stopped growing. So they thought a very useful metric to track was monthly recurring revenue growth week after week. And if you focused on trying to keep that consistent, you'd probably be in a good spot. So I tracked weekly growth for the first year and a half, every week. You know, it was interesting to see the growth rate, and I made some notes about churn and stuff beside it. And my whole thing was like, what I'm gonna do is go weekly growth of the new product beside it and see how it works, basically. Or how much better or worse this new thing is week by week. I don't know how this B2B thing is gonna pan out, but I think it has the potential to be, I think there are like multiples of what we have now that we can like use what we have to stack on top of it. Like sort of similarly to what I did with my last business. And that seems incredible because this one's probably gonna keep growing. The beautiful thing about running a profitable business is that time's on your side rather than time being against you. If I'm like really cooked just because of whatever, you know, you have frustrating weeks and you have frustrating days or whatever, I can feel it. It can be related to work. It can be related to personal things. It can be both, right? It can be all of that and the fact that like you had to travel and you weren't eating well and like you weren't exercising. 1. Static electricity. Your life is day to day, right? Like I have no choice but to be in the day to day when my calendar is stacked. But I think part of trying to live a healthy and balanced life is creating time to step back and appreciate that and everything else that's going on in my life that makes it wonderful, in my opinion. I gave myself Wednesday mornings with Emma, right, as like a sort of ongoing thing that is actually in my calendar. I'm sure some people would look at how I run my life and they're like, you don't give yourself enough space. Whereas somebody else would look at it and be like, you're doing a pretty good job at this, you know? The quality of a man's life is directly proportional to his commitment to pursuing excellence. I think that goes for anything in life. Life is infinitely complex. I don't have the answer. You know, we're really trying to figure it out. Right? Oh, is that for me? Nope. See the fake out?